Okay, you ready? We'll call this meeting of the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee meeting to order. I'd like to welcome you all. We do have a quorum present for this meeting. You've all have received the minutes via email from the last meeting, and also you may have a copy in front of you. Is there any questions or comments or changes to these minutes? If not, I'd like to get a motion to accept.
All motion, the minutes be accepted as submitted.
I second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Staff report.
First thing, we'll look at the council report you see in front of you. I would like to point out one new thing that we've added to it, visitors in the park. We have a traffic counter at the entrance of the park now, so that we can keep a more accurate count of how many we're serving, so that we're gonna have that number for you every month, in addition to the other activities.
So is this 15,000 vehicles?
It's actually, there's a formula, it's,
That's it,
that's the number of vehicles.
for the month of
Okay,
April.
that's the number of vehicles for the month of April.
Wow.
A lot of cars.
A whole lot of cars.
That doesn't include the people that walk there, too.
I mean, we'll figure if there's 3 or 4 people in the car when they go.
Mm-hmm.
That's some pretty good attendance. That
Yeah.
would.
Any questions about the council report?
Did we change the format? And I know I missed a couple of meetings where we had the year.
Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't done a year-to-date lately.
Any other questions?
The rest of the staff report, just wanted to go over a few things. At this, for this committee, I don't usually talk about the senior activities very much, but I wanted to bring up the senior prom that we had a couple weekends ago. It was great success and a lot of fun, and Parks and Recreation did pretty much put it on, and it was just a lot of fun. I just wanted to bring that to your attention, just so you know we have that kind of stuff going on. Last weekend we did Get Fit Laverne again with Snap Fitness and a couple of other organizations. That was Saturday in the park. It went well. Not as big as we'd like, but still a lot of good information out there. I want to talk a little bit about the flood damage. As far as our parks in Laverne, we fared well compared to other cities around in their parks. We did have a little bit of damage here and there. We had some fields that we had to do some work on, and roof damage at the multipurpose building, and I think Heritage Valley Park, the YMCA's storage box washed down the creek and caused some havoc there. But overall, we really fared well. And we also worked with Box 100 and the city to provide the disaster relief headquarters at the Civic Auditorium for a couple of weeks. So that's gone very well. A lot of people bringing donations out there.
Is that still going on now?
It is. They have trucks out there now that they're putting the stuff in, because I think it's going to end this week sometime. Do you know, Jerry?
This week, they'll be having a sale.
Yeah.
To go, I guess the proceeds go toward victims.
And that's at the Civic Auditorium?
Yes.
We are replacing the carpet at the multipurpose building from the floods, and we've been trying to get the floor at the Civic Auditorium redone, and we've had to reschedule it just with Box 100 being down there, but we've rescheduled it again, so we're good to go. Summer camp sign-ups we also did earlier this month, and I believe we've got a couple of weeks full now, but we've got quite a few kids signed up. We have gone through the interview process for our camp counselors. We've got them lined up as well. So we're on track for summer camp the orientation for the counselors starts June 7th, and the first week of camp is June 14th. And it'll be a 6-week program again. We are doing a CIT program. So if you have teenagers, we're starting at age 13 for the CIT program that would like to volunteer and work with our summer camp. You can fill out an application for that. League reports. Let's see. YMCA soccer, even though they did get some damage in the flood, they have still managed to get through their season, and they end this weekend. Hockey also finishes the end of this month, and they're going to do a tournament the first weekend of June. Baseball and softball, the fields are in great shape, and they're working around the rain, getting their games in. We've got some tournaments scheduled in June, and then we are hosting the World Series the first week of July and over the 4th of July weekend. So that's it for our leagues. Any questions?
Okay, good.
That's good. There's a copy.
I saw it this morning. Thank you very much.
Under old business, we have the weather warning system, which continues to be a note item for us that we're still working to get funding for, and it's still sitting there, just looking for that funding. And the park ranger, same, trying to work through the process to adding a park ranger, so we just want to leave those on there to keep it on people's mind. Community garden, you want to give us a little update on the community garden?
If you would be interested, I'd like to ask Deb Edwards. She's been kind of heading up the community garden. If you want to just give us a report on how that's going.
Sure. The fence is up. The fence went up a week ago Friday. Energy's gone into digging the ditches around the plants to try to use the water well. The next focus, I think Mr. Nelson emailed everybody that he was out there on Saturday getting all the grass up around the perimeter. And the next focus is to get all the sticks and rocks and stuff out of the middle walkway. So it's a work in progress. I've already eaten some cabbage. Actually, when I'm working in there, I just eat whatever's ready.
It's looking good. There's a lot of things starting to sprout some growth, so it's coming right along.
Yes, there's a lot of children. There's an amazing number of children that come and utilize that field. So I'll have names down by the end of the summer, I'm sure.
Good.
One of the young ladies came in the garden last time. I actually let her dig with the hand tool and wasn't paying enough attention. I think she might have gotten some of the carrots. So I sent everybody the email and said it's my responsibility. I didn't pay enough attention. And we had a nice, serious talk about how she can't go in unless an adult's there. So, but I was surprised at how many children.
Oh, yeah.
And no grown-ups.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
a lot of children.
That's great.
Yeah, quite a few kids do use that open field area.
So is the fence completely around the perimeter?
Yes,
And it's just a small fence.
It is. You can step over it.
Yeah.
It's like chicken wire stuff. And then there's 2 gates.
Oh, so the kids can still get in and out
Yes.
readily?
It's actually the perfect size though, because it's like keeping the rabbits and other animals out, but it's still easily accessible to get in and out of it.
We'll have
And
to go-
Robert built the fence all by himself. It was really great. He paid for it all himself. And Mike Slicker has done a Miracle Grow trip through there. So people are showing up.
Get good participation.
Good. Thank you, Debbie. Any questions for Debbie? Yeah, all right. Thank you.
And
Lit-
if we could, new business, I'd like to move up the party in the park to new business, because since this agenda was put together, we have actually become a sponsor of Party in the Park. So it is a City of Laverne event that we're helping. So just so you know, Party in the Park, has everybody heard about it yet? A little bit. It's actually a group of citizens that have come together and want to do a benefit for the flood victims locally here in Laverne. They're doing a great job of putting committees together and getting things taken care of. They're going to have some bands playing and have vendors out donating the food. All the money collected is going to help the flood victims here in Laverne. So we're providing the place for it. It's at Veterans Memorial Park, and it's Memorial Day weekend, the Saturday, 29th, I believe is the date, from 10 to 6. And it's there's going to be a children's area, I believe, that they're going to sell a wristband to get into all the games and activities at the children's area. And then there's going to be food vendors. They're going to sell tickets, and you use the tickets to get food at the however many tickets they decide to charge for their stuff. And then, of course, music and entertainment. So come out and join us 10 to 6 on Saturday, May 29th at the park.
Do we need to work that one as we work at the Old Timers event, or just come out and spend money?
You could do both. We're still putting together, they're still trying to get volunteers. Of course, the city's not in charge of that area of it, but we can sure hook you up with the right people
Okay.
and get that taken care of.
Harrison will actually be with me that weekend, so
Okay, perfect.
we could certainly,
We'd love to have you come out and help.
cool.
What area are you going to have this in?
It's going to be in the grassy area between the inline hockey rink and the skate park,
Okay.
right in that area.
Robin, I know it's not on the agenda here. Let's talk about greenways just slightly, keep this board apprised
Okay.
of where we're at on some of the sidewalk projects and things, because eventually those will link into the parks.
Yes. Right now, we have actually had a little bit of movement on 3 different projects. Fergus Road sidewalks are very close to being ready to be bid out. The engineer and the city have been working very close with TDOT to get the final approval of all the plans and everything. And once they have approved everything, then they will give us notice to proceed to put the project out for bid. And then we will, I would say that process takes a couple of months. We'll actually see some work being done, hopefully this summer, on construction of the sidewalks. And they're going to go from Murfreesboro Road up to the park, up to the first street at the park. What's the name of that street?
Heritage Valley.
Heritage Valley. So Fergus Road is probably going to be the first one that you'll see any actual construction. Next we have Cheney Boulevard, which a lot of people are really wanting to see something over there. That sidewalks on Cheney Boulevard next to the high school. And we have signed a contract with an engineer to start doing the design of that. And we're hoping a pretty aggressive schedule on that so that it can all be designed, and if any right-of-way has to be acquired, all that can be done so that next summer, that summer of 2011 when school's out, it'll be a good time to do construction on that. So that's kind of the timeline we're working with right now. And then Brookside Park, which is across the interstate over in the Dove Creek, Farmingdale area where the city has some land, and then we have a future park in Brookside subdivision. We are working with an engineer. I don't think we don't have a contract yet. I think it's going to be ready for the next board meeting to start the engineering design on that, and hopefully that will also be under construction in the next year.
I think that the city has been talking with Jerry Butler regarding that piece of property between the park and Fergus Road, as part of the Greenway.
But which area now? Between
the Fergus Road, where the sidewalk's going to be, and Heritage Park. Between the creek and Fergus. That's all wetlands. It's all owned by Jerry Butler. I thought we were trying to connect that in.
There has been some talks. The situation there, we have talked to him, and I don't think it was on our old Greenway master plan, and we need to do, our old Greenway master plan is 11 years old now, and it's pretty getting obsolete as there's been a lot of changes since it was first put in place. So we really need to look at our Greenway master plan and do revisions on it, and that will probably be included.
I mean,
We
there's
need
no
to do
commercial
that.
value to that land, and I think it'd be a great, if you could donate that to the.
It
to the
would be,
Greenway.
it would be, any floodplain, flood areas that next to creeks and stuff are really perfect for greenways, because even when they get flooded, there's a lot of cities had greenways underwater for days, and they do okay. It's not like a lot of building damage or anything like that. If a greenway's underwater, it just is underwater. Sometimes it leaves a little debris that needs to be cleaned up, but that's a really popular place to do greenways is along.
Well, that's a perfect spot, because we are gonna incorporate it into the Heritage Valley Park there. And it's between that and the city sidewalks. It'd be ideal.
Yep. We will probably continue that discussion with him in the near future.
It will state that he did donate, Mr. Butler did donate all that right away for the sidewalks, so he did not have to purchase that as well.
Yeah, he did.
Well, he's a decent gentleman. He knows needs, I think he'll.
Even though there may be some cleanup necessary, we did some cleanup. Somebody at work lost her home in the water, and we have a guy on staff who's done OSHA work for years, and he was saying that, you know, we really do need to test the land. You know, if it's the lake water that came up across over pasture land, it picks up feces and stuff like that. And Harrison actually plays soccer with Northern Rutherford County, and they play out near the cemetery. And they're actually testing all that land. And Doug, the guy from work, had said that he's been involved in the past with floods like this, and they had to take 6 inches of land of dirt before they got
it was
the stuff that's clean.
contaminated.
So, I mean, there could be some cleanup necessary.
There was
Yeah.
something on the news tonight about your vegetable gardens. If they were flooded,
Ugh.
you want to be very leery about eating any of it for those very reasons.
And that's one thing we have done here in the city, is anything that did get, was underwater at all, we've tested to see, because I know there was probably quite a bit of contaminated water around. We have been doing that. That's why we're replacing the carpet at the multipurpose building.
Well, good for you. He spoke about the illnesses. He says that the stuff that's left behind, the illnesses that happen inside of us are really, really horrible. And if doctors don't make the connection that you were, you know, contaminated, he called it all contaminated water, you know, people can get very, very sick. I actually did ask him about the soccer park. You know, I only have one kid, you know, and he had said that actually it can be quite dangerous if they fall on a spot and it gets in a cut, and if the doctors don't make the connection, people can get very ill.
Yeah, and I think to answer that as well, I know the health department is following all the clinics and doctor's offices for any type of complaints that may be related to that. That is being monitored. So there's lots of things being monitored that you may not even think about. There's a lot of testing and monitoring going on.
Well, I just think making more people aware of it too is
Yes.
beneficial. So.
That is good information to put out there, though, because people on their personal property might be interested in getting the soil tested, or.
And I know we have a large viewing audience at Channel 3. Surprises me sometimes.
In the middle of the night, we're going to get everybody. He actually told her that everything in her house that got wet, that was porous, she had to throw away. It was really a struggle. It's her life. Her house got wet halfway up the walls. And she had us, we did cleanup there on Thursday, and she had us putting stuff out. We had masks on and heavy gloves and rubber boots. We were told to cover all of our skin. We were told not to go into our homes. When it was done, we were told to, you know, disrobe outside of the property and to put our clothes in a tub. Because if we put our clothes directly into the washing machine, we could put the spores into the washing machine, and you know, it would be hard to get it out. So, you know, people think it's ridiculous, but people who do occupational safety and health stuff for a living, this is very serious.
It was
So
better,
anybody in
better
the
to be
city-
safe, better to go the extra, take the extra precaution and be on the safe side.
Some of the reports that, for instance, we've replaced clothing and footwear and stuff for a lot of ones that was in the water, because they could be contaminated, so those have been replaced as well.
And
So,
the tetanus shots, we're a part of those tetanus shots. That were, was that last Saturday?
It was Saturday.
Hopefully people took a bit, anybody who came in contact with the water, like Jerry, you told me you were in the water. I hope you got a tetanus shot.
oh, I'd had one previously, but I had another one just to be
Because
safe.
I wasn't brave enough to go into any of the, moving water places. But they said, really, you do want to get a tetanus shot.
Well, all of the first responders, I'm sure they're aware of it,
Yeah.
because they were all out there. I think
Yeah,
every-
I was out there assessing homes, and I was told I had to throw my boots away. I just purchased. They'll buy me another pair.
Good luck.
Oh, I'll get them. Box 100 take care of me. But it is. It's really devastating. As I walked in some of the homes where everything right behind us here, along Nurse Spring Road, a lot of damage to them homes. A whole lot. How that water got up over and got into there, it's amazing. Now I've seen homes over on the other side, the water up to the windowsill, and you can't even get to the house. The water's still standing there, and I think it's still standing there today.
Still standing today?
Pardon?
It's still standing there today?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw what they had flood insurance. Our friend from work didn't have flood insurance.
Most did not.
Yeah.
Most of the ones we're finding did not have flood insurance. I think that, it's unfortunate. This is one of those storms, I guess the perfect storm type scenario.
Yeah.
Don't you have to live in a floodplain to be eligible to even buy flood insurance?
No,
Yes.
that's actually a myth. You can get flood insurance outside the floodplain. However, most people do not buy it because it's not offered. Or
You
told
have
that
to
they- or
ask
told that
for
they
it.
need- You have to ask for it. And,
Well, I was under that misconception then, because I don't think I live in a floodplain.
yeah, that was, you could have it. You didn't. It's not a requirement. It's just a little bit higher premium, and most people didn't push it because it may change their mortgage rates if it's in their mortgage price, and they were barely qualifying for their home to begin with, so they didn't get pushed onto them. And I guess they thought there was never no need. But I think that some of those maps may get redrawn again, and FEMA just within the last 12 to 18 months, I know that Laverne had been redrawn some by FEMA. They set those maps, and there was a few little changes, but I think that we probably will never see that again in our lifetime. We've always been accustomed to localized flooding, but with a storm like that, I think that it was obviously citywide and region-wide, and but I'm proud to say I'm proud of Laverne. I think that the response by our emergency personnel and all the support that follows with Box and Rescue and all the others, they all stepped up and the role was there, and I was happy to see that things went well. We had assessment teams in the field fairly rapidly doing the assessments, and I say that overall I think everybody came together and a job well done. I do believe learned a few things through the process, but I think overall, in my opinion, it was handled very well.
Yeah, we put in a lot of hours over there at Fire Station 3, command post.
I have a friend who lives in Lake Forest Estates, and she told me, I hope I repeat this right because I keep forgetting they're filming this stuff, but they were trying to get over the bridge coming out to Laverne on Murfreesboro Road, and she is of the opinion that we sacrificed at least one police car. They situated the police car so that people could get home. And I said to her, God, I hope it wasn't one of our new police cars. She's on me. But she is of the belief that we sacrificed a police car.
Yeah, we did lose a patrol car, but it was not at the county line, though. I was actually at the county line.
It wasn't intentional either, was it?
No, it wasn't intentional. But there was it was a learning experience, and hopefully we'll never see that again.
May I ask a Greenways question? Because I don't have any history with this, so I hope I don't sound obnoxious. I certainly don't mean to sound obnoxious. In Nashville, the Greenway, the exposure I've had to Greenways, is that it's a contiguous stream span, but it seems as though we're doing greenway that's scattered about.
Well, and a lot, you gotta start somewhere. The ones in Nashville, they did that also. They're just way ahead of us. But they did sections at a time, and eventually you hope to connect them all.
So we'll connect to Smyrna and Davidson County?
That's the hopes that in the future that will eventually happen. But you just, greenways are kind of complicated because you gotta work with development and acquiring land, and so they're a little tougher than you think. But you just have to do little sections at a time, and part of our greenway is gonna be sidewalks. Sidewalks have to connect, but we're hoping in the very near future to have a nice showcase down Hurricane Creek as part of our greenway.
So the plans for this, I'm trying to get better at navigating our website. If I go online, if I hunt in the right place, can I find that?
I'm not sure that's on our website.
Is that the greenway that you said was 11 years old that really needs to be updated?
The master plan, there's a master plan that kind of is a snapshot of the whole city, and just looking at possible connections, and some of the land has already been developed, and then a greenway wasn't put in it, so we have to go back and relook at.
Do we have a master greenway plan per se?
Yes, that's
Other than just
that's
conceptual?
obsolete.
What? Okay.
Shouldn't we get this information into the BOSA board and planning commission so that when people come in and want to build, we know what's supposed to be greenway so they can make that part of the requirements for building?
Yeah, and that has been, but up until the last 5-6 years ago, it's not really been looked at very hard. Now there are the Brookside Park area that was worked with developers and donated land there for that, which will eventually tie into Cane Ridge Park, is the hopes there. And then as it comes down behind City Hall and around Hurricane Creek to the boat ramp, it would then tie up through the neighborhood into Lake Forest Park, and then back around
Heritage Park.
then Heritage Park back to Fergus Road, and then tie into Smyrna there at the airport into the Smyrna Greenway. That's pretty much kind of the route it would take. And there may be a connection point here at 41 into Nashville or something, but most of it's probably going to go from the airport back through Heritage Valley, back across down into Lake Forest, and then across to the boat ramp, and then out behind here, and then follow along the creek area via sidewalks down Waldron Road, or maybe some greenway along the creek again, and then tie in over in Farmingdale Dove Creek. So it's just kind of you kind of look at an aerial view to kind of see that.
So for us, instead of doing the more nature sort of stuff, we've defaulted to more like sidewalks.
Well, actually, no, there'll be a mixture of
There'll be a
both.
lot of natural areas.
It'll be some natural. So
Hopefully.
you may walk through sidewalks right into the natural area.
Because I know with Smyrna, there is that stretch along that really busy road. And the first time we rode it, Harrison knew the way. I was like, I don't think this is right. But it turned out that was the connector
Right.
from where the golf course is over to, I don't know what to call it, but there's a lot of playing fields over there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. And see, that connection point there is it continues with master plan there, because there is actually a mid-state plan per se, and
Like
that
a
connection,
regional plan.
that connection point there would go across and out Weekly Lane and tie into Long Hunter State Park over that area. So there is a plan for that. You'd have to kind of look at the aerial for that to perceive plan. 20 years down the road, 25 years down the road, that may be happening because it's piecemealed as it goes along.
We haven't lost any of those grant monies, have we? Were
No.
there grant monies for
There-
that?
yeah, there's-
Oh,
there's-
good. So I remember you telling me there were 3 grants we were going to lose, and I meant to follow up with you about that, but work got so busy that I didn't do it timely.
Yeah, one of the grants is Fergus Road sidewalks, which is about to get built, and then we have a grant for Cheney sidewalks, which is in the works, and then we have a grant for Brookside, the Brookside section of the Greenway Trail over there. So they're in the works.
Remember, maybe a year or so ago, you were very complimentary about, I think the city had just hired a new grant-seeking person, or do we still have someone that?
We have someone on staff that a small portion of her job is grant writing.
Somewhere, I mean, a year or so ago,
Yeah.
there was a lot of praise for having somebody finally attacking and being on top of all the grants that were available to us.
Unfortunately, she gets pulled in a lot of other directions too, so grant writing isn't really a priority. But if there's a specific grant that we know of, then she can definitely work on it. But she just,
And as we've seen, as we've actually found, grants in the last 18 months have become pretty hard to get with the economic climate. A lot of grants are, kind of on the wayside. And
Well, outside
no
of-
new grants, they're not funding new grants unless they, pull in some funding from others that didn't get done or something, calling them in early. And then again, they may not be reissuing those monies.
Well, outside of Parks and Rec, aren't there other grants available, like citywide, that we might, is there anyone in the actual city administration that looks at grants? Is that a feasible position?
Well, it's feasible, maybe not a full-time position. Even before it was kind of a part-time type of job. It's just that all those grants are looked at different things in the different areas. Whether it be for this early warning system and stuff. But as we're finding with this, some of those grants either through Homeland Security or back through regional private type grants and stuff. Those fundings are just kind of drying up because the contributions into those funds are not as great as they are with everything that's happened, with the economic climate, with Haiti, with, the other natural disasters that happen. It just kind of it pulls money, and they have to sit back and look at the needs versus the wants. And you have to say that they try to make that best decision on where that money that they're going to grant better serves. And
Well, I would just hate to see money available to us. I think that's what Deb was saying.
we do look for that.
And
yes.
we miss it.
we do tap into a lot of different areas, like the TDOT. All our sidewalk and greenways grants are TDOT because they're transportation enhancement grants. And just so y'all know too, the state Parks and Recreation Fund that was established many years ago, I think it's called the real estate transfer tax, that the money went towards parks and recreation projects across the state, and the last 3 or 4 years it has been used to balance the budget instead of going towards parks and recreation projects. So if you have a little extra time and are interested to look into that and write some letters to your elected officials, that would be helpful, because it's
At the
right
state
now
level.
at the state level.
And it was
At the
the real
state
estate.
level, yes.
What was the tax called? The real
It's
estate
a real estate transfer
transfer
fund.
fund, and a portion of that money was to go to Parks and Rec.
The whole account was established to go towards parks and recreation projects across the
Throughout
state.
the state. And it's being diverted on a
it's-
regular basis. of
Yes,
late. Well, I love writing letters, so.
yes.
But a takeaway may be that all of us could keep our eyes and ears open, and people who happen to have spare time on their computer, we may find a lot of stuff out there. I mean, there are people at work who write grants, and I'm sure I can learn to write any grant, and I will certainly
Would you get one
help
for
the
me?
city with anything.
And
Well,
that
I
would
can
be
get personal,
wonderful.
but, a lot of grants, I don't know. Right now, life is pretty busy. I wouldn't have time to hunt around for stuff, but I remembered being told when the stimulus money was moving that there was an awful lot of that stimulus money that was coming in the form of grants, and that people need just to look for it and step up. And I know there are all sorts of requirements for tracking money
that's-
that come with
And
grants.
that's what you have to be
Right.
careful of. But if you find anything that looks like funding that we would be able to utilize, definitely send it our way, and we can look at it and see. Sometimes there's too many strings attached, and it's just not even worth it to get any money, because you spend more time and money keeping up with their requirements. But there's quite a bit of money out there that's good.
We got a whole department at the office that has functioned for over 10 years off grant money.
Yeah.
And, those people know how to write those things, and I guess it depends on your perspective. Well, once I get close enough to it, I guess I might have a different view.
Yeah,
I
you
have
said-
one more query about
Okay.
Fergus Road, if I could, please. In some of the meetings, I don't know, Jerry, you could tell me which meeting it was I was in, but I hear about some turn on Fergus Road, and because it was the planning commission, and wanting to be sure that some turn lane coming off Fergus Road where the Dollar General was going to go, that it be broad enough for a big semi to make the turn. Can you picture that in your mind's eye?
Well, I know that, that's probably not
Is this
prevalent.
where this
No.
sidewalk's gonna go?
No,
Or
no,
is
no,
there
no,
gonna
no,
be
that's
ripping
fur-
up a sidewalk?
No, that's
Okay.
further out, that's further out.
We don't want anything
Oh,
like
still
that
on
to
Fergus?
happen.
I'm sorry?
Further out on Fergus?
Yes, potential development on the corner of Sand Hill and Fergus.
Oh,
Come to the planning commission meetings. You'll know all
I'm
about it.
trying to avoid.
And there's one other thing I want to say so I don't forget, it doesn't apply to this at all. We got an email today that, Charlie's, unfortunately it's not in our city, I wish it were, but over on Sam Ridley, if you go there and eat between 5 and 10 today, half of the money they're going to put towards flood victims. But apparently it's happening everywhere in the Nashville area. In fact, several states are doing this. So I know people who are be seeing wherever those cameras are will be too late. But if y'all are hungry when you're done, and you
Go to
you
O'Charlie's.
eat that food, get some money to people who are hurting.
Good comment. Any other comment? Lane?
No.
Nothing?
No.
At all?
No.
Bob?
And nothing at all.
Our next meeting will be June 21st, here at 6 o'clock here at City Hall. And if there's no other comments, we'll call this meeting adjourned.